Good morning, class. Today we are going to focus on regular past tense verb pronunciation. That means the sounds of regular verbs when the letters ed are added to the end of those verbs. As we know, we add ed to the end of a regular verb to show that an action happened in the past. For example, I married my husband 3 years ago. We also use this verb form to show an action that happened in the past and is still true right now. For example, I have been married to my husband for 3 years. We are speaking of regular verbs here. Irregular verbs do not take the ed ending, and they must be studied and memorized, as there is no repetition or pattern. The d sound at the end of married tells you, my listener, and also my reader, that I am talking about something that happened in the past. But I do have a question for you. Do all past tense verbs have the same sound at the end? Let's investigate the different sounds of ed. Please read this paragraph with me. Pay close attention to the verbs that are past tense. Try to listen to what you hear as we read them together. When I returned to school part-time last fall, I worked very hard. I needed to work on my English. My classes changed my opinion of learning. So I decided to attend college as a full-time student this semester. I have passed all of my classes with good grades. I have learned how to be a successful college student. Okay. We have 7 past tense verbs in this paragraph. Now, I would like you to turn to your partner and take turns reading the paragraph to each other, one at a time. Again, listening very closely to the verbs that I have underlined and highlighted in pink. While you were reading, I was writing. Notice that I've created a chart on the board. A question for you. Why did I write these verbs in different columns? Take a moment, look at the words, say the words to yourself, and then write your prediction in your notebook about why I have sorted the verbs into these columns. Now, share your prediction with a partner. Talk about it for a few minutes, and then perhaps you will want to add or change what you have written in your notebook. Please do that now. Okay, let's read these sentences. Locate the verb. Sumaya arrived early for class. Ali presented his ideas to the Board of Education. They asked a difficult question. He failed the exam. She closed the door. Now, reread the sentences with a partner, again, one at a time. Focus on the sound of the verb ending. Okay, good. What did you notice as you were listening to your partner read? Did you notice anything that happened at the end of the verb and then the beginning of the next word? Arrived early, presented his ideas, asked a difficult question, failed the exam, closed the door. Yes, good. We do notice some blending. Words run together. That is a focus, I think, that we will look at in another lesson, but it's something that can help us when we are thinking about what we hear at the end of that verb. Let's add these verbs to our chart. Good, do you have them? Okay. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. I'd like you to place your fingers on your voice box. That's right. Some people call it an Adam's apple. Now I'd like you to say the words in the first column, the left column, one at a time. Returned, changed, learned, arrived, failed, closed. What did you feel? A buzz? A vibration? Good. Okay. Some of our textbooks, if you've taken pronunciation, the basic pronunciation class, we call that voiced, or we can call it vibration. Please repeat this exercise with the words in the center column and then the column on the right. Okay, what did you notice about the words in the center column? Did you feel a buzzing, a vibration? No? Okay, well, we can call that voiceless. That is a term that you will hear in your pronunciation classes, or you could say no vibration. What about that right column? Something different? Okay, we'll talk about that. Why do we pronounce verb endings in different ways? You can think about what you felt and heard, and then looking at the verbs you've copied onto the chart in your notebook. I want you now to talk to your partner and write a label for each column in pencil, please. Focus on the letter sound you hear and vibration. Remember, write voiced if you hear a vibration from your voice box, if you feel a vibration from your voice box. Write voiceless if you did not feel a vibration. Please do that now. Okay, good. Why do we pronounce these verb endings in different ways? The sound at the end of the base verb determines how we pronounce the ed ending. Vibration, voice, or no vibration, voiceless, at the end of the verb also helps us to know how to pronounce each verb. Here are the three sounds. D, vibration, voiced. He arrived early. T, no vibration, voiceless. She dropped her math class. Id, we add an extra syllable, don't we? She decided to take math next semester. Let's label the columns and add more verbs if we can. Good. I noticed that some of you already had the voiced and voiceless, the d sound and the t. Perhaps you didn't have the slashes as I have. If you take a linguistics class when you transfer to university, you'll learn that letters are put between slashes to show or to indicate the sound. We're talking about sound, not necessarily spelling. Now that we have a label on each of our columns, take some time with your partner and look at the words that are in each column. Are there certain sounds at the end of the base verb that tell us we should pronounce the verb as d, or t, or id. See if you can identify those sounds based on the words that we have written together and the words that you have written yourself. Okay, good. Pronunciation rules for the ED regular verb endings. Note to my listeners, I would not share all of these sounds for the D, vibration or voiced sound. I would focus only on the sounds that were in our words that we generated together, specifically verbs ending with a V, G, S, L, or N. As we continued adding to our chart, I would introduce the sounds, probably not these phonetic symbols with my students, but I would add as needed as we encountered verbs that had these sounds at the end. I would follow that same pattern with the T rule for verbs that end in sounds like P, K, F, F, S, Sh, and Ch. The id, the extra syllable, there's only two of them, T and D. They're both represented in our chart, so I would give those. Okay, so extension ideas. I might have students read an article independently or with a partner, underline regular past tense verbs, and ask them to add those to our pronunciation chart. I might play a song that uses regular past tense verbs and provide a closed script for students to fill in the missing past tense verbs and then add those verbs to our chart. And I also might consider providing an audio script and a video for students to watch, perhaps using something like Edpuzzle, and then have students underline on that script the past tense verbs. So looking at that script while they're also listening to the native speaker, presenting, lecturing, being interviewed, and then have students add those to their chart. Ooh, I'm glad I'm done. Thank you for listening.